Welcome to Follow Your Joy podcast, where intuition is the doorway to your elevated creativity, more joy, and prosperity. I'm your host, Marla Diane, and I've been living an intuitive life for decades as a creative. That translates to transforming creative entrepreneurs' lives for over 27 years through two businesses as a business strategist and a life designer. And prior to that, an entertainment publicist and talent manager. Follow Your Joy is an entrepreneurial resource for creatives sharing their challenge to victory stories through the lens of listening to their intuition. It's time to make joy your inner GPS for life and business decisions rather than lean on your logic and reason first. You'll not only be following what is most authentic for you, but you will live the beautiful life meant just for you. Want to learn how to access, trust, or up-level your intuition? Join me in the conversation to find out how. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. We took a breather over the summer. And did you catch the Summer Reset series where we featured past episodes of the last 3 years, right? And we launched a new division of Follow Your Joy, and it's called the Portal of Joy. And I know you've seen, if you've watched any of the, or seen any of the promotions and the, Instagram posts or what have you, the Portal of Joy, it's a gift to you as my listener and follower. And what you're getting are free tools and resources and strategies to help you kind of take action on what you're learning from myself and I call them my brilliant expert guests. And all you do is you opt in to the portal. Right? There's going to be a link here in the show notes. And you opt into the portal, and there you have a treasure trove of, right now we have 16, I believe, different guests, different, freebies and downloads, and you'll hear from my guest what she's going to have. And so we vet the gifts. They're not just a discovery call or go to my site and, here's my email. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking good stuff, right? Downloads and, journals and all sorts of great stuff. So please use that link below and go to town, because you may enjoy, let's say you're listening to this one, right? And you want to get Laurie's, which I'll do a proper introduction in a moment, but she'll do some sort of a special, which she'll share with us. And you go in there to go, take Laurie's and, her gift. And now you see 3 or 4 others. You're like, oh man, who are they? And what? That's the point. We want you going in there and having a ball. Download it. Yeah. Okay. So that's Portal of Joy. Okay. So let's move into my delightful guest. So I want you to think about this, everybody, you have one of those dream joy careers, kind of a fantasy, right? Kind of lives in your fantasy that, what if? Well, one of mine is owning a bake shop. It's owning a bake shop where the shop is like loved by the whole area, and people hang out, right, and enjoy the food and all the goodies and enjoy the atmosphere. And there's a friendly staff, and it's just a great place to, local neighborhood, if you will, place. Well, what I just explained in my fantasy is my guest's business. And it caught my eye on Instagram when someone from her team commented on one of my posts and went, oh, what's this? Wow. And I went to her Instagram page, and there was Laurie's Pie Bar. I'm like, what is this? And it's in Long Beach. Oh my gosh, it's close by. So there it is. So I'm really delighted to introduce Laurie Gray. She's the founder and owner of Laurie's Pie Bar. And the Pie Bar is a premium. I love how she describes this. It's a premium dessert shop, right? Specializing in homemade pies baked from scratch, right? Baked from scratch. And they're located, of course, in the heart of downtown, Long Beach, right along the water there, or down by the water. So as she explains in her info, she says, I did not have owning a pie company on my life bingo card. It was one of those out of left field, and she's going to share that story. But she says that she's spent 3 decades in corporate America, right? And she enjoyed her career, was in marketing, and development, and she intended to stay with it until she retired. But in 2014, like I said, she's going to really, tell you the details behind the scenes of what happened. 2014, I guess life had other plans, right? She was turning 50 and looking forward to kind of a new decade of new opportunities. And then something happened. So you get to hear that today. Yeah. So, Laurie, welcome to Follow Your Joy.
Thank you. So good to be here. Good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure. Anytime there's a creative woman and her dream or potential dream or something that shows up and created something, right? Here we are in the 3D and it's physical, it's done, it's wow. Okay. So, Laurie, give us highlights of really what happened that brought you to bacon pies, right, from scratch and creating this really, I call it kind of a beloved brand.
Yeah, so I always loved to bake. As a child, I grew up baking. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and she taught me how to bake. And we baked. I lived on a farm in Washington State, and we baked everything from scratch. And so then, fast forward, I got into a career in banking, corporate America, marketing, finance. I loved it. So, it's all I knew was business and boardrooms and wearing suits and I loved that world and planned on doing it forever.
Yeah.
And but life takes turns, and so in the fall of 2014, I suddenly got laid off. So and if you've ever experienced this, like you're doing your job and going about your days, and they came in and said, "Today's your last day. We'll take your laptop and your keys, and here's your severance check, and have a great life."
Wow.
So that kind of just floored me. I was not expecting that at all,
Yeah.
because I was in a job that I loved and I did very well. And so once the shock wore off, I knew I had, a little bit of money to get me through the next few months. And I said, well, I'm going to start baking pies. So I was a single mom. I had moved from Washington State down to California in 2010.
Mhm.
And single mom, I had two teenagers still at home. And I knew I had a little bit of money from my severance package to get me going. But in the meantime, it was the holidays. So it was Thanksgiving was coming up. And I said, well, I need to get some cash coming in. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start baking pies out of my home kitchen in Long Beach. And I did that. It just grew faster than I expected. And it was just me doing everything and baking. It was a tiny oven. I could only bake two pies at a time.
Oh my
And
God.
so, I'd get an order for 30 pies for the next day. And, that's 15, 16 hours of baking. Anyway, they were long days. And it was me going to the store, buying the ingredients, coming home, doing all the prep, doing all the baking, boxing it up, packaging, delivering. Um,
Wow.
so, yeah, it just kind of fell in the opportunity fell in my lap and I just started to go with it. And, now looking back, I'm really glad I made that decision.
Yeah. I call those situations, and maybe you've heard of this too. I call it the gift and the challenge. And, and I think we even talked about this when we had our, kind of get together on the Zoom call, where when you connect the dots of our life, they're in order as they
Mhm.
should be, right? And apparently, and didn't feel like that at the time, but apparently that was the gift, was taking that sharp left pivot, even though initially it wasn't initiated by you. But that's, like you said, sometimes things show up and I'm always connecting it to universal energy, to, higher power, whatever you want to call it, is that was meant to be, right?
Yes, because, I was in a career that, had a lot of benefits,
Mhm.
and you don't just decide one day to walk away from that and leave
Yeah.
that all behind, especially when I had two kids to raise.
Yep.
And so it's nothing I would have ever done on my own to walk away from that career that had so many benefits into entrepreneur life and running your own business, which is quite different. So, yeah, now looking back, I'm so grateful it happened because it
Yeah.
has been such a wonderful experience and it has brought me so much joy over the past 10 years.
So much. Yeah. So essentially, it never occurred to you during the time you were in your corporate career, you never had these little thoughts or fantasies about, geez, maybe I should start my own business, or maybe I should go cook. That never, ever entered your mind.
No, it did. It always tied back to baking. I had a passion for baking.
Mhm.
And even when I was living in Seattle
Mhm.
at the time, I had started a little baking business on the side with
Oh,
pies. So it always has been tied to pies. So, but
uh-huh.
it wasn't anything that I would have, said I'm quitting this corporate career and I'm going to go full speed into this. So, but yeah, that had always been, I guess, deep down part of the dream. And because I love to bake, and
Yeah.
it it's brings people so much joy,
Yep. Hmm.
and that brings me joy. And so, and my kids grew up with working parents, a working mom, and so I didn't have time to bake stuff from scratch, right? It was Betty Crocker cake mix.
No.
And so when I had this opportunity, I said I want to get back to scratch baking. I think there's a whole generation that is missing out on that made from scratch
Right.
with love products,
Yeah.
especially pies.
Yeah.
Pies take so long to make, and a lot of people don't have the skills or the time it
Yeah.
takes to make a pie. It takes about 2 hours to make a pie from starting to baking it to, so it's a very labor intensive
It is
dessert.
labor intensive. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'm glad that you said that. No, you actually did have thoughts, and you even had a side gig, in Seattle. That's my point. And that's the point I wanted to make, which I know you totally agree with this, is that's how powerful our, if you will, vibration is, our thoughts, right? Is that when it's wrapped around joy, when it's wrapped around something that you love, hence making pies, it never leaves you until,
Mhm.
if you either do something or the universe goes, fine, you can do it, then I'm going to do it for you. And that's, I mean, over the many years I've done coaching, and then I've had a, metaphysical life for since 2000, so 25 years. It is, if you would have said, oh no, I never even thought of it, I would have gone, are you sure? And so it just again shows, it's almost like the intuition in you kept going, "Mm-mm," right? Kind of
Yeah.
knocking on
Knock,
your
knock, knock.
knock knock, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, whatever, and then keep doing your thing. But that's the success leaves clues. And those are the little noddings or nudges, whatever you want to call them, that are going, hello, you know, this, you love doing this. There's a
Yeah.
lot of joy in this. You need to do something about it. Now, is this across the board for everyone to monetize that? No, but it is to pay attention to it and do it in any way that you see, deem appropriate. Because I'm not saying that, especially with creativity, because this is culinary arts, is that I am a huge support and advocate, obviously, because I work with creatives and I'm a creative, is that please nurture whatever that creativity is in you. Please nurture it. It doesn't mean you have to monetize it. Just keep doing it. Right.
Mhm.
So in your case, instead of it being, monetized, it could have just continued to be, right, a passion of yours, and maybe later on it would have been. But that's what I'm saying, is not necessarily every one of those intuitive nudges are meant to be a monetized new career, but they're meant for you to follow it, to see where it
Mhm.
goes.
And this was so strong, though, such a strong
Mm-hmm.
uh, lead into it because
Mm-hmm.
I had no restaurant experience and
Mm-hmm.
no money to start a business
So,
and two children to support. And so the logical thing, and it did cross my mind, come in and out of the logical thing. To me, the responsible thing would have been to go look for a job in an office job again
sure.
and get back into what I was doing my whole life.
Yeah.
But I never once looked for a job. I just headed straight down this path one day at a time.
Yeah.
And, doors just kept opening. And that's when I knew that this was a real thing. And for me, I'll bet on myself all day long, every day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, failure is not an option.
Yeah.
This is going to work
Yeah.
because failure is not an option.
Good.
And so let's go.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it. And so that then kind of answers somewhat. You can elaborate a little bit on this, and that is the purpose of the podcast is to find out when you listen to your intuition that led to a fulfilling result. In other words, I'm here to tell stories of why it's so important to listen to your intuition, right? So that's your story, is that, right? What we're talking about. You listen to that nudge, you started baking pies, right? So go ahead and kind of elaborate on that. So you followed your intuition from the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. Because like I said, I had no restaurant experience
Yeah.
and I really didn't have the money to start a business.
Yep.
So I actually did a Kickstarter campaign where I raised money through friends and family.
Fabulous.
Uh, and so that got me the money. I raised 80,000
Oh,
and that allowed me to open up my shop. Um, it got me, my lease, it got me all my equipment, it got me all my supplies. I hired my first employees. And, while I was building the brand and building the business, I was doing pop-ups around the neighborhood. So, in Long Beach, I would pop up at different coffee shops and different events. And so,
mhm.
kind of building a name and introducing people to what I had to offer. And so when the shop actually opened, I already had a really good uh, base of customers
Yeah.
to be excited to come in.
And how long did you do the pop-ups?
About a year and a half.
Oh, okay, good
Yeah,
to know.
yeah. So not a long time,
Yeah.
but it was about 6 months. I spent, about 6 months looking for a place, found a real estate broker and we must have looked at 30, 40 different locations trying to find, a shop that would work and that was within my budget and an area I wanted to be. And I lived in downtown Long Beach. And so I wanted to be close
Mm-hmm.
to, where I
Mm-hmm.
lived. And it's funny. And I knew the spot, I knew it would work, but people said, Laurie, nothing makes it up there. There's been a bunch of businesses that have come and gone from that spot. Nothing makes it. I'm like, well, it's pie. So this
Yeah.
will be different.
Yeah.
Um, and so since then, the area has grown, but at the time it was a little risky, the location I chose, because it was an area that hadn't really been fully developed. But I just knew from the beginning that it would work.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And then that's where the intuition comes in. Because, the important thing for listeners, for you to know is, intuition, and this is a great example what Laurie's saying, intuition is never logical. It doesn't come from your brain, right? It comes from your heart. So when you said it made no sense, didn't have money, wasn't saving for this. Had no restaurant experience. It was like you were literally starting from scratch, right?
Yeah.
And so logically, of course, it doesn't make sense to do it. But we're not looking for logic. We're not
Mhm.
looking for practicality. We're not looking for any of that, right? That's again of the critical brain. That's not where intuition resides. Intuition is about your growth. It's about evolving you. It's about honoring what you're meant to do. It's about, it's always for your good. It's never, ever going to lead you astray, right?
Yeah.
So, one of the traits of intuition is it comes from the heart, it doesn't come from the head, right? And it comes from that love that it's just a part of you, right? And it's
Mhm.
always gonna, it's the wisdom,
Yeah,
so.
and I really believe that intuition is a gift that God gives us,
Agreed.
because, yeah, it's not logical. And
Mhm.
starting a business is not easy. It's very hard. There's lots of blood, sweat, and
Oh,
tears
oh,
that go into it. And so every time, there were times in the beginning along the way that I'm like, nope, it's too hard. I can't do this. This isn't going to work. And then God would open another door or bring somebody into my life. And I'm like, okay, we're doing
right
it. Yeah.
there. Let's hear a story about that.
Well, like even finding my real estate broker who I didn't know.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to find a shop. So I knew that the ultimate goal for me was to have a brick and mortar store
Okay.
where I could bake all day, people could come in, smell the wonderful smells, come in and enjoy pie, and but I didn't know how to find a spot, so I needed, a real estate broker that specialized in commercial real estate to help me find that. And um, I really was at a point where I'm like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I can't find anything. Nothing's working out. Every place I'm looking at, I don't like. And then a friend introduced me to this woman, and she was wonderful. And she became one of my very good friends. But she drove me all over. We looked everywhere for spots, and she was so knowledgeable. And so she was the exact right person at the exact right moment
Hmm.
that I needed.
Nice. Very nice. Okay, good. So the breaking point for you, in other words, you were at a place of I surrendered. This is not working. I can't find the place. I don't know, where to go. And then your friend recommends this commercial real estate broker, and the birds came out singing.
Yeah. And then, we
Yeah.
found a spot within a couple months. So
Fabulous.
then it
Okay.
happened. Then it started to move really fast.
Yeah. Okay. So it only took a couple months then, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Once I made the decision that I wanted an actual shop, and found Catherine, and we started looking, and the right spot opened up, and we signed the lease and started doing the build out and getting all the work done. And that took about 6 months.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Because so you would have the Kickstarter campaign at that point. You had the 80 grand. you have the startup, money, funds, and now you find the place, and now you're doing the build out, and now you're like, okay, wow, it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give us another story. Now you're in the shop, maybe it's a year later and you're doing your thing. What's another challenging story about running the shop? Remember, you haven't done this before.
It's funny. There's been just been so many challenges along the way. Restaurants, as I have learned over the past 10 years, are just a beast.
Mm,
There's so many things to be aware of and to learn. And, you got to get the quality consistently, you
mhm,
know, great. And you've got to get the customer service side
mhm,
wonderful. And you've got all the, you know, rules and regulations that come along with running a restaurant. And
mhm.
so I had to just kind of learn all that on the go as I went. And it's funny, you know, I have a wonderful team. The success of a business really is the people. And
Yes.
so
Yep.
I just have a wonderful team over the years. And the joke is they'll now every now and then someone will come to me and say, well, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do it this way? I was like, that is a great idea. That only took us 9 years to figure that out. It happens all the time. So it just really was, just kind of learning on the job. It was on the job training.
Yeah. So you did not have a business coach, a mentor, anyone that was helping you? You were just literally trial and error?
There were some
Mhm.
other mentors, friends that I could check in with and get information. And there is anybody that's wanting to start a business, there is uh, SBDC, which is part of the Small Business Administration
Yeah.
nationally,
Mhm.
and they will offer services. It's all free. So
Right.
they will help you write your business plan, your marketing plan, set up your website, get your pricing. Like they will help with everything you need to do for free.
Okay.
So that was a very helpful resource in the
You
beginning.
did that. You
Hmm.
did. What did they help you with? All of what you just mentioned?
All of that,
All
yeah,
of
all
that.
the
Okay.
business plan, pricing, setting up a website, finding vendors to order from. Yeah, just everything it takes to run a business. They're
That's
very helpful.
wonderful. How long did you work with them to get all that put together?
I'd say probably just about 6 months. Yeah, and then
All
it's
right.
all ready, and then we opened the doors, and we were so busy from the day we opened. We opened our doors and to a line down the street, and it
Woo!
didn't
Love
stop
that.
all day long.
That's
And
fabulous.
so it was,
Well,
uh,
oh,
yeah, it just was incredible. It was so
yeah.
fun. Yeah, fun and scary
Fun
because
and
it's like,
well, but that's no, you're on the right path when there's obviously fear involved because it's new, but it's exciting. It's when
yes,
it's not exciting and only fearful is when you need to find something else.
right.
Because it's, the excitement is that's what evens out, right? The fear, because the fear is only because it's new and eventually, as I say, it gets awkward and then it gets elegant.
Hmm.
You go from awkward to elegant. The awkward is the fear, not knowing how to do things, and then you get really good at it. So as long as you have the excitement as part of that equation, you're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so you relied on them. That was super helpful. So everyone, I don't know if you even thought about that, but that's a really good tip from Lori, right? Is the SBDC, is that what it's called? Of
That's
SBA?
the one here in California. Yeah. And
Okay.
they're a subset of the SBA, which is Small Business
Yes,
Administration.
of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of good resources out there that people don't even realize are there for them.
Okay. Well, it's true. And who turned you on to that resource?
I think another business owner,
Yeah.
yeah, must
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was, they're located at one of our local colleges in Long Beach. And so,
Mhm.
yeah, just go in and set an appointment and
Yeah.
yeah, very helpful. It was a great way to get started on the right foot.
Mm.
Um, because you don't even, for me, I didn't even know what I didn't know,
Of
right? Like you're
course, I
venturing
know.
into the abyss of the unknown,
Like, I
and I
don't know
don't
what
even
I'm
know what
supposed
I
to
don't
know.
know.
Yeah. Aw.
Yeah, until it happens, and then you're like, oh, okay, I did
Yeah.
not know that, but I know it now.
Yeah, talk about humble pie.
Yeah, yeah, for
Sorry, I had
sure.
to say that. So, okay, so talk to us then. Um, what is kind of what's up next for Pie Bar? What's your vision, or maybe your couple years from now? What's the next vision for you?
Well, we're still growing,
Hmm.
and pie is such, always say like pie is the ultimate comfort food.
Hmm.
Like everybody has a memory tied to pie. It's so popular. It's more popular than I even realized because there's all kinds of cakes and cookies and cupcakes and donuts, and I love them all. But there's not a lot of places that just do pie,
Hmm.
right? And that's all we do. I never wanted to be a full bakery. I just wanted to be pie. So we're just all kinds of pie, even pies for dogs. We have pet pies. We
Oh,
don't leave them out. Um,
good.
but I think it's such a, and that's what I knew too from the beginning, is that it's such a niche
Mhm.
that there is a great demand for it in the market
Mhm.
because you can go to your supermarket and get a pie, but those pies are filled with chemicals and they've been sitting on the shelves for weeks.
Yep.
And so in the bakery business, there's a lot of things you can buy pre-made. There's a lot of additives you can put into products to keep them from spoiling or from molding and that's all chemical. And I knew from the very beginning I didn't want any of that. I wanted to be just like cream, butter, eggs, fresh fruit.
Mhm.
And so we make everything from scratch by hand. We make our own dough. I have vendors come to me, they're like, well, I have some great pie dough to sell to you. I'm like, nope. We we make it all,
Yeah.
in small batches right there in the shop. Everything's made in
Nice.
the shop in the morning, and we hand roll each pie crust.
Amazing.
And that's how it's always been, and that's how I always want it to be because I feel that's what makes us so special.
Wow.
And so, yeah, growth is definitely on the horizon, both in catering. We do a lot of like weddings and corporate events. And so the catering side is growing, and there's huge opportunity there to expand in the area. And then also to expand other shops around the area. So there's a lot of growth potential ahead for sure.
So, as in franchise or just additional locations? That
Yeah, both. I mean, there's a way it can go where I can open corporate owned stores where I own. So I'm the sole owner of our Long Beach store, and so I could continue and open additional stores and
yeah.
be, the owner.
Mhm.
Or I could go the franchise route
Right.
where I have other people and they open stores and they are the owner of their own store, but they follow our brand and our process and our procedure and our recipes. So a couple different ways to go.
Yeah. Very, very good. Okay. Love that. All right. So, what brings you the most joy in doing what you're doing? More than what you've just already shared.
Yeah, it's really the people.
Yeah.
When people come in every day, because we bake everything right there in the shop, and it's a small shop. We operate out of just 1,000 square feet,
Mm.
so we're a tiny shop, and so you walk in the door, and the minute you walk in, you can see the pies being made right there behind you, and smell all the delicious smells. And so just seeing people enjoy the pies and, share their memories that are tied to pie, like, growing up, my grandma
Mhm.
used to make this or he used to bake. And then, my team, like I said, a business is only as good as the people in it. And my team is amazing. They make all the magic happen. I
Oh.
have an amazing head baker, Tracy, who she is make such a great product consistently, because that's what's hard in restaurant business and food business, is to make a product consistent every day so that someone comes in today and has a piece of pie and they come in next month and it's the exact same pie. So consistency is very important in restaurant world, but very, very challenging to do. So
Sure.
Tracy does an amazing job. And then I have other bakers and I have staff that are the servers and cashiers, but it's so fun. They all get along and they all have so much fun. And people will come in and they're like, why is everybody so happy in here?
I love it.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so that brings me joy. They do
Oh,
because, they just enjoy each other. They enjoy their jobs, what they're doing. And they enjoy serving our guests and making them happy with pie. So I always say pie makes people happy and that makes me happy.
yeah, that's terrific. I mean, really well said about, the atmosphere, the culture that's there, right? Because
Yes.
of the team. Yeah, and it's so, so important in the hospitality, industry because they're like walking into someone's home, right?
Mhm.
And you want your customers to feel welcome and joyful and all that stuff. So awesome. Good, good, good. So, okay. To kind of finish this up, tell us, give the creatives that are listening around the world is based on now it's 10 years, right? 10 years of experience? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What month is your 10th anniversary?
So I started the business in like really the fall of 2014. That's when I lost my job and
Mhm.
started baking out of my home kitchen. And then we opened our store in downtown Long Beach, June of 2016. So
Okay.
we just celebrated 9 years there
Very
in
good.
downtown Long Beach. And so next year is a big 10-year
Okay.
anniversary and there'll be a big pie party for that.
Oh, good. Okay.
And you'll be invited.
I'm coming, girl. I mean, I'll be there way before that. So based on your 9 years of experience, and expertise, what tip or advice can you give the creatives that are listening, the creative entrepreneurs or those that are looking to become an entrepreneur?
I think the biggest thing is just don't give up. If you have the dream
Mhm.
and you have the vision
Mhm.
and you have the commitment, you just can't give up because it will be hard.
Yeah.
There are some days that you want to quit. It's super hard. And if you just push through it, there's always a way, right? Like I'm a really good problem solver. So when a problem hits me, I'm like, well, I'm going to go around or under or through it or over it, right? There's
Yeah.
always a way if you don't give up. But I think that's what happens is, so many people give up and don't fulfill their dreams because it's not easy,
Yeah.
but it's worth it. In the end,
Mm.
it's 1,000% worth it.
Oh, fabulous. Well said. Yeah. No, look, entrepreneurship is the best self-development course on the planet.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean,
Yeah.
in my own world, I mean, I've been doing this 17 years and I feel like I'm starting all over this year. It's just your business does, it's got cycles and it's got its own life, if you will. And yeah, being an entrepreneur, wow, it is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, it's not.
Mm-mm.
But I can't imagine anything different now. And I think it was always in my soul. It was
Yeah,
always there, right?
yeah, that's
And
right.
now I can't imagine ever anything being different. I can't imagine
Mm.
going back to a job where I'm
Mhm.
told what to do and how to do it and when to do it. There's
Yeah.
such a freedom. I
Mm.
think that's really the biggest perk. And that's the joy that comes out of all the challenges
Mhm.
is the freedom you have. I'm in total control of what I do with my business and my life,
Yeah.
and no one can. And I thought that corporate America was safe. I thought that was safety, right?
Mm.
And it's not at
Mm.
all. I'm now better off knowing that I control everything,
Right.
my path. And like you said, businesses have cycles, and
Yeah.
we had to manage, a restaurant through 3 years of COVID and shutdowns. And I never want to go through anything like that
Oh, God, that
again.
must have been quite a challenge, no?
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
whole nother podcast episode.
That I was going to say, that must be a whole other story we'll have
That's
to
a
get to. Yeah.
whole nother story. But um, you're in charge when you're running your own business. You get to make all the decisions and just do what you feel led to do,
Yeah.
what you know is the right thing to do. Follow your intuition.
Follow your joy and follow your intuition. That
Hmm.
is for sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, what you shared, just about your journey, and this is really why I wanted you here, because one, I love what you're doing. Two it's real. I mean, you've really presented, look, we could have another hour talk here, but I really wanted you to present the realities, right? Of someone like yourself from scratch, not even knowing how to do this. Rather, it's like having 2 or 3 years to kind of build up to it because you chose to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just a really wonderful story of, 0 to 100 or whatever, and what it takes to navigate that. So, thank you for that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
having me.
welcome, of course. So, what would you like to provide our listeners that's going to be in the portal of joy so that they can take advantage of whatever you're going to offer? What do you got for us?
Oh, yeah. I would just like to invite people to stop by the shop and do a buy one, get one free slice of pie. So,
Oh,
yeah, they could just come in and tell us the code follow your joy,
mm-hmm.
and they'll get to choose two slices of pie for the price of one.
Oh,
We
isn't
have
it?
all different kinds of flavors, and we're seasonal. We change flavors throughout the year. So starting in the fall in October, we bring on all our pumpkin, sweet
Mm,
potato,
yeah.
bourbon pecan, all
Oh,
the
yeah.
wonderful holiday pies too.
Oh, good. Now, can they use this also in the, okay, you may need to correct me on this, but I know people can order online, right?
We do have online ordering.
But
This code would only be if they came in to the
this is
store.
for only in store. Okay, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad I
only in
asked.
store
Okay.
to get to buy one, get one
Okay.
slice. But they
However,
can go onto our website and order anything for pickup. And we do delivery through all the delivery apps, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Postmates, all that too.
okay, so just for the sake of knowledge for our listeners, is that the online version is only for ordering ahead of time to go to the store to pick it up or the shop to pick it up. You don't deliver across the nation.
No, I get
Not yet.
asked quite often about delivery, and I have tried, and it's very hard to prepare a pie and
Yeah.
keep it from being damaged when
I
it arrives. And
know.
shipping is so expensive now to
I
ship a
totally get
product.
that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's just not feasible at the moment. Maybe one day.
maybe one day, and that's what I wanted to get clear on is I thought I don't think she does shipping, and I can't even imagine taking that out. It's like a whole other business,
Yes,
right? To be able
100%.
to
Yeah.
actually, so good. Okay. So again, everyone, it's only in store, buy one, get one free. But man, I'm gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah. We have so many
And my
great.
girlfriend, my friend were like, let's go, we got
Yeah.
2 for 1. Okay, terrific. And everyone, the follow your joy is the code that you give when you check out, when you pay for your pies. Okay, beautiful. And that's going to be in the show notes, everyone, or I'm sorry, in the portal of joy. So in order to get that, you opt into the portal of joy and you're going to see that. You'll see, her info and her photo and so forth. Okay, beautiful. And then where can everyone connect with you? Where are you?
Yeah. So, well, you can follow us on social media at Laurie's Pie Bar.
Okay.
We have Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and all the socials. So Laurie's Pie Bar. And then our website is lauriespiebar.com.
Okay.
And the bar comes from, I didn't mention, but we also have beer and wine. So you could come in and have,
How cool is that?
a piece of pie, a beer, glass of wine. We have parties come in, do like birthday parties, and they'll have pie and they'll get a bottle of champagne. So.
Okay. And you also do cooking class or baking classes.
Oh my gosh, yes, we do baking classes. You'll have to come. They're so fun. We do them a couple times a month, and we do them in the evening after the bakers have left for the day, and they get to come into our kitchen where we bake our pies, and we teach you how to make the dough, roll it out, put the pie together, and then we bake it for you, and then you go home with your own fresh baked pie that you made.
Right. Love that. And so people can find when the classes are if they go to the website.
Yes, lauriespiebar.com, and there's be a link to find the classes.
Yeah, how fun is that?
Yeah.
So again, on social, so it's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok,
YouTube,
not on LinkedIn.
I have a LinkedIn page. I do. And there is a Laurie's Pie Bar on LinkedIn. I forget about LinkedIn, but yes, we're there too.
Okay, very good. I just want to make sure so we put this all in the show notes.
Yes.
So, okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Gosh, everyone, who doesn't love a pie? And like Laurie said, there's always some story, right? Some comfort memory around eating, obviously, a home-baked pie. So, just it's like the specialness of life, the simple joys of life. Let's put it that way, right?
Yes.
Joys of life. I love that.
Yes.
So good. All right, everyone, tell your friends to listen to this episode. Please pass it on to them. You're listening to this. Make sure you send them to Follow Your Joy, right, to this episode. And really enjoy. I hope you all enjoyed what you heard. I know I did. I can never get enough of this when Laurie and I talk about it. I'm like,
thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Yeah. Okay, everyone. Terrific. Until next episode. And I'm glad we're back for the rest of the year. And have any comments, please make a comment down below, depending on what platform you're listening to this. I'd love to. Sometimes you're in a vacuum. You're in a podcast. Okay, did you like it? Are you listening? So if you liked what you heard, can you make a comment below, whether it's Spotify, Apple, YouTube, etc. Would love to know what you enjoyed about this. Yeah. Okay, everyone. We will see you next time. Next episode. Be well and be blessed. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for listening. You can find more entrepreneurial stories and resources at marladiane.com. And while you're there, enjoy my free downloads to up-level your business and your life. And Instagram. It's my favorite place to hang out. Let's connect there. If you received inspiration from the episode, I'd sure appreciate a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify. Until next episode, take care.